Hi again, it's Sarah. So, we're up to when I was meeting at the surgeon at the hospital. So the next step is what he said. So he said he was quite annoyed at first because he didn't know that this other lady had told me what the diagnosis was. So he said he was going to end up ringing her. Now, so my diagnosis is that I have a thymoma type B. Now, type A is obviously like completely and utterly benign and no issues at all. Type B is, yeah, it's benign, but could it have malignancy potential? Now, that is the key word here, malignancy potential, because at this stage, yes, it's benign, but it could become malignant at some point, and that is why I am so grateful that he has come he was early, that he has kind of made it so that I was taken seriously and pushed through. So at the minute, yes, it's benign, and all those sections are benign, and we just have to hope that the entire tumour, because my tumour is 10 centimetres, which is humongous, it's a very large anterior mass. We just have to hope that all the way through it's still benign. And that's not what came across on the Wednesday when we went for that meeting, so that was a little bit frustrating. It felt like a bit of a dampener on it, but at this stage we are saying yes, it's benign. Now this is where it gets a little bit harder because unfortunately a thymoma is a sticky tumour, so it doesn't invade, which is great, well, unless it's like a stage C or D, but because mine's B, it hasn't invaded, it won't invade, but what it does do is it sticks to organs and it pushes. So because mine is so large, it's not doing, well, as far as they can tell from the CT scan, it's not doing stickiness to the lungs, which is great. It just seems to be pushing on them, but it is sticking to my pericardium, and you have a main vein that runs down it and it's sticking to that. That's what they're thinking from the CT scan. That is worst case scenario. They're not 100% sure. They think it could just be resting near it. It could just be scar tissue. It could just be it could just be next to it. So they're not completely sure, but they have to prepare you for everything that could happen. So at the minute where it's resting, they're concerned that it's sticking to the pericardium, which is the sac around the outside of the heart, and this main, I can't remember the name of it, but this main vein that runs through your body. So straight away, no matter what, the straight way that they get rid of a thymoma is they do a thymectomy. I think that's what it's called. Basically, the surgery, they remove the whole mass and they remove your thymus gland. Your thymus gland is a gland that just sits behind your breastbone, and it was really important during puberty because it's what sends out all these hormones and things and helps you somehow during puberty. And usually in most people what it does is it shrivels and dies, but mine hasn't. Mine has got bigger and bigger and bigger and become a growth. So that's why most people it's never found, because it usually just dies. So that's the surgery, is to remove all the mass and to remove the thymus gland. Now, because mine is so large, it can't be done through keyhole surgery. It has to be done through a sternectomy. Or sternotomy. Great. So I'm going to have a large scar running from the top of my chest all the way down to the bottom, split in two, and then I will be having my breastbone broken. So this is happening in less than 2 weeks' time now. I'm going to have my breastbone broken in two. They use like an electrical saw to cut it, so it's not like they crack it, which means it heals a bit better. So breastbone broken, and then he's going to get in there and just start chopping away and taking it all out. He said if it is attached to my pericardium, that's no worries. He can easily remove that because it's just an unnecessary sac that's around it, and there'll be no further health problems. Now, the only issue is if it's really stuck itself to this vein and he cannot take it away without damaging me and obviously killing me. So what he will do is he'll remove as much as he can if it's attached to there. And then he will biopsy whatever the tissue was surrounding it. And hopefully that tissue will come back as still benign. And if it is, then they will just monitor me for the next few years and just make sure that it's not growing again. And because it's a tumour, so it might start growing again, but it's took 30 years to get to this size. If it comes back as having malignancy potential or any malignant cells, cancer cells, because at the minute there are absolutely no cancer cells in the biopsies that have been taken. That's why that first one possibly came back as inconclusive. You know, it was so there was no malignancy, but it was so small they wanted to check a bigger area. What are you doing? So they'll take a biopsy of the area surrounding that, double check it, and if there is any concern, then I'll be blasted with either radiation or a mild chemo. So that's the step after. At this stage, I am just trying to focus on the fact that I am getting a major surgery and I need to get through that, and then whatever happens after, happens after. But yeah, get off me. Major surgery first. I am feeling terrified, absolutely terrified. I've got a 10-week-old baby, and for the next 12 weeks after this, I will not be allowed to pick him up, and that makes me feel awful. I can imagine when at this stage, because I've got him in my arms, it's unimaginable that I'm not going to be able to hold him. So yeah, but afterwards I think that's going to be what causes me to get depressed, causes me to get really low, and it's going to be really hard to keep myself going. Luckily I've got a very good support network around me. My husband I can't even tell you how amazing he is, and my family has just been incredible, and my in-laws have been incredible. But that is going to be the hardest thing, that I'm not allowed to pick him up. I'm not allowed to hold him properly on my chest. I was gutted after all these tests. I had to stop breastfeeding because I don't have that closeness anymore. Now when it gets to, he said at least for the first month, it's going to be very, very difficult because I won't be able to do, like, literally no pressure at all, because they'll split open they hold the sternum back together with wire kind of stitches, and if I pull, they will separate, and yeah, I'll end up having to go back under and getting them sorted. So really don't want to do that. Now eventually, hopefully after a month, he said you might start feeling like you can start not picking him up, but having more pressure, because at least by 6 weeks it should be 80 to 90% healed. It should be back to, like, if you think about a broken arm, that's a 6 to 8 week block. So at 6 weeks, I'm not putting him on my chest, not picking him up, but more having him across my belly, like I am now. He's across my belly, and that's only pulling on my left arm, really. So those first few weeks are going to be hell. I have to figure out a way. Maybe my husband sits him on my knees, or I can't not have contact with my child. But I'll figure it out. What I'm trying to figure out at the minute is how much I use my breastbone to do different things. So I can figure out what I can and what I won't be able to do. For example, trying to get out of bed, because you are not allowed to push up off your arms or elbows or anything. You've got to use your legs only to get out of bed. And I don't know if you've ever tried this, but it's bloody hard. So I'm going to have to figure out a way of keeping my myself propped up enough that I can just kind of swing and swing out. That's it. That's the only way I can get out of bed, at least for that first month. So tired. This is what a newborn does. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm hopefully going to keep you updated on what's going on. Yeah, hopefully keep you updated. Hopefully I'll be here, and this time next year it'll be, oh, that was a nightmare I had to get through. It's just frustrating that I'm on maternity leave for a year and this is what we're having to deal with. But yeah, that's my next step of this story, and I'll keep you updated. Thanks for watching.